Welcome back for another dose of science. I'm your host, Boston PhD, joined as always by Dr. Moon.
Hello.
We're here to talk about The Last Stand Aftermath. We're going to talk about our final thoughts on it. We're going to ask the same question we ask every month, which is, are we going to keep playing it after the fact? Don't forget that our next game is Halls of Torment. We're going to play that here for the next month, which will probably be the last game for this year. But we haven't really talked about that from a production standpoint, but the timing will probably line up
It will
appropriately.
probably work out that way,
Yeah.
would be my guess.
Yeah. So, Last Stand Aftermath. Moon, what are your final thoughts here, and are you gonna keep playing it?
I really like this game a lot, and I want to
Yeah.
say yes, but it's not on my console.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it is. It's just not the version I own and played.
Right. At time of
Um,
recording, the developers have said that they are. Oh no, sorry, that's a different game. These are. This game is on some consoles, but apparently, at time of
the
recording,
version is balked.
yeah, there are some quality concerns. We didn't play them, so we can't speak to that directly. But there were enough kind of negative reviews and impressions for me to say like, I'll play it on PC. I'm good.
Yep, and also that's where I got it for free.
That's right.
So
Thank you, Epic Game
that
Store.
works nicely.
Yay.
hmm You can have my email address and my username, and I will keep accepting your free games.
That's right.
It is appreciated.
That's right.
Oh, I really do like this game. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
genuinely do. I think mechanically, yes, it's slow.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to argue with that. It
It
is
has a
definitely slow.
it has a deliberate pace.
Yes. But it is also, like, it fits with the theme it's telling.
Mm-hmm.
And I think mechanically, the story, like, fits really nicely into the nature of the gameplay. Like the
True.
story and the gameplay tie themselves up real nicely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's nice
Like,
when
which
you
is
get a game that has a reason to send you out into the game itself, other than like
mhm.
just here's run number 15. It's like, yeah, but like why am I doing that? We don't really need that, but it's pretty nice to have a little something to keep propelling you.
Yeah. It's and I think like mechanically it's not the gameplay is a deliberate pacing where I think like progression wise, I think it keeps a good clip going on.
Yeah.
And like the further you get, the more upgrades you get, the more points you get. And the fact that there's a lot of like forgiveness with regards to you don't lose the upgrade points. Like
Mm-hmm.
if you happen to die on a run with 50, you just get them.
Yeah. Yeah, that felt
Like,
pretty generous.
uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
I like this game.
yeah, I feel the same. I feel like a lot of they struck a really great balance, I think, of um, having kind of a deliberate pace, but with the smaller size for each one of the nodes you're going on, kind of the FTL map. I think for me that balanced out really well. Of like, all right, I feel like as we've played some roguelikes before where it's like, all right, here you have just this giant area and you could pick at like every little trash can and dumpster and drawer in this kitchen ever, but the area is too big for you to really kind of scour each little individual spot. And I feel like the size of each one of the nodes on the map, I felt like I could take that time to really scrape and scrounge everything I could without feeling punished by it, which I think is
Yeah.
a pretty good balance that I was continually pretty impressed by. Um, I this one is just kind of a pleasant surprise overall of a game that I think I unfairly judged by its cover.
A
Um,
hundred percent. A
yeah,
100% I did the exact same thing.
yeah,
And I've seen the name The Last Stand as well enough to just be like, eh.
Yeah.
Like, it looks like they just put them out 16 times a year and make what money they can and move on to the next one. Definitely prejudged it. Definitely a mistake.
Yep. Yeah. It's really hard for roguelikes, I think, especially because there are so many out there that are just like the dead rogue gods and the undying rogues, and it's just like, yeah, yes, I get it. Okay. So it's a little hard to not judge a lot of roguelikes sort of by their cover. And honestly, I was thinking about this the other day. Still feel a little bit burnt out by zombie games in general because we lived through like the 360 era of like, yep, it's got zombies in it.
Yes.
Oh wow, a zombie third person shooter. Oh wow, pretty cool. Oh, it's a first person zombie. So it's like there's a little bit of still that fatigue, I think, but um, I'm overall really impressed by Last Stand Aftermath. I had a great time with it, and it's one of those where there's some games on the show where I'm like, yep, done with that finally. Whew, put our month in.
Hmm.
But I could keep playing. I still feel like I've barely scratched the surface of this. The skill
It's
trees
huge.
are way bigger than I thought. And
Hmm.
thankfully, I'm we are here in November, so I'm sort of thinking about top 10 list for the end of this year and trying to think about.
This, this might be on mine, if I'm completely honest.
Well, I'm also thinking about games too that have had non-impactful skill trees. You play those games where it's like, oh, you put a point in here, you get 0.5% extra armor. It's like, oh my god, I'm just wasting my time in here. This really didn't feel like that. It's just like, okay, here's like 25% movement speed increase. It's like, yes,
Hmm.
great. Okay, now you can craft new guns. Now you can heal yourself like, what, 10, 15% better? It's like, okay, now we're talking about, it's not like, ooh, you heal zero point 0.5 seconds faster. Whoopity do. It's like none of that. They are thankfully fairly impactful uh, improvements that are making. So yeah,
Hmm.
I like Last Day and Aftermath a whole lot, and I'll probably keep it installed to kind of break into it every once in a while. So we did have a chat like usual at the beginning about where we should start this list, and we decided number 30. So is where am I at? Is The Last Stand Aftermath better than Spelunky?
I enjoyed it more. Like, Spelunky is great, but I think the thing we loop back to with Spelunky is the meta progression is your skill level, and I
Right.
think the problem with that is when you take a break, your meta progression fails you completely.
Well, and I feel like Spelunky is a positive for some and a negative for others. It's really hard. And I feel like Last Stand Aftermath is challenging. I think it is hilariously difficult in its tutorial. That's a tutorial I'm going to remember for a really
Yes.
long time. Where it's like, learn how to
Yeah,
shoot, jump
congratulations.
over this thing. You're dead.
It's the Dark Souls tutorial.
Exactly. Yes, 100%. Um, so I think I'm going to put Last Stand over Spelunky. Is The Last Stand Aftermath better than Descenders?
Mm. Oh. I mean, it's the same. It's the same problem. I like Descenders. Go
Yeah, Descenders
go
is great.
listen to that episode. Like, Descenders is one of my favorite roguelikes, potentially of all time. Um, Also listen to whatever episode number comes out at the same time as this. I I I did I dipped my treads back in Boston.
Oh,
Boston. I dipped my treads back in.
maybe in TVGP episode 890.
Yeah, that one. Whenever that one is.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Descenders is really really great,
Mm-hmm.
but again, it's zero meta progression.
Yeah.
It's That's the thing that's getting to me now. As I've realized more and more as I get older, I want to make things easier for myself by going further in the game where it gets
Right.
harder. I want to use the meta progression to make that. My ideal meta progression flow is the game gets harder, the meta progression makes it easier, so that two diagonal bar like lines going up the graph at the same rate.
Right.
So the difficulty remains the same as it did when you first started it, except now, like, the start is easier and the ending is roughly where it was when you first played the
Yeah.
game.
As the game
Like,
kind of gets
that's
bigger and unfolds.
yes, that's
Yeah.
my ideal meta progression. And Descenders, I can quote this from experience,
Mm-hmm.
has the same meta progression of Spelunky, where when you stop playing for a while, oh
Uh,
boy, do you sure lose that meta progression that you spent so long building up.
yeah. You literally have to learn how to ride that bike again.
Uh-huh,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
So it sounds like this goes over Descenders, begrudgingly.
Yes,
Yeah.
I would say so.
Is The Last Stand Aftermath better
Too
than?
hard? Yes, it does.
Yeah, ditto. The game in question was Wizard of Legend. Is The
That
Last Stand
last that last
Aftermath better
dungeon is
than
just
BPM bullets per minute? They
I
couldn't be any
mean,
more
you
different.
I mean that's true. Also, you can't play BPM.
I'm so bad at it. The game's so good, and I'm so bad.
Uh-huh. I'm okay with it going above it. It's quite literally the opposite of each other. One is a fast-paced, rhythm-based shooter, and the other one is the slowest survival kind of roguelike you've played.
Right. I can agree with that. Is Last Stand Aftermath better than Nuclear Throne? See our previous comments about difficulty
Yeah, I mean,
and meta
yeah,
progression, I guess.
yeah, both. To be honest, I would put it above it. I think I enjoy this more than Nuclear.
Yeah, I think just from like a playing standpoint, I think I'm and like an enjoyment standpoint, I think I'm right there with you. Is The Last Stand Aftermath better than Risk of Rain 2? I mean,
Do we need to put Risk of Rain on the shelf until we experience the god awful DLC that has been created for it?
you're really selling it, Moon. I don't.
I mean, the game got review bombed straight to oblivion because of the DLC
I mean, the hard part too is the original developers are no longer making Risk of
involved in it.
Rain.
Uh-huh.
They
Yep.
at the moment they're over at Valve, and Gearbox, who previously was just publishing it, is now developing um, Risk of Rain 2. So
Uh-huh.
I don't want to play a Gearbox game at all.
Same. Same.
So maybe this is a Risk of Rain 2 classic sort of situation.
That's what was in my head
Yeah.
was do we append the words classic behind that?
Right. Yeah. The future is not exactly clear for Risk of Rain 2. That's for sure.
Uh-huh. I'm fine with this going above it as well. I like
Yeah.
Risk of Rain 2. It's fine, but screw that last boss and
That whole
having
last
to know
level.
the ins and outs
Yeah.
of looping just to make the game fun again.
Yeah. Is The Last Stand Aftermath better than Go Mecha Ball? Recently played and enjoyed Go Mecha Ball. Yeah, whatever that noise is, that's me too.
I mean, I like Go Mecha Ball like a lot.
Again, apples and
Different
oranges here.
games.
So like,
Yeah.
I think we respect that. I'm sort of struggling with this one because I think I really like The Last Stand Aftermath a lot, and it. We had all the platitudes we just threw at its feet. Go Mecha Ball just feels so good to play, and so fast but manageably. Like you can still manage to control it,
Uh-huh.
and its uniqueness is a huge part, I think, of what makes Go Mecha Ball so successful and so fun to play.
Yeah, it's really tight controlling.
Yeah. This one's tough. I could really go either way. I'm like maybe like one little percent Last Stand Aftermath over Go Mecha Ball, but I'm not committed to it.
I mean, honestly, I mean, I might put Last Stand just above it. Just.
Yeah, by like a millimeter.
hmm it's like the diametric opposites of like roguelikes,
Yeah.
and this is one of those ones where it's like, yeah, I really, really, really like to play them both for completely different reasons.
Yeah, exactly. I think I'm okay with it going over Go Mecha Ball.
Yeah,
Is The Last Stand Aftermath better than Cult of the Lamb? Ugh,
it,
gosh.
it's a game that does a lot,
Hmm.
and it does them all exceptionally well.
Oh boy. Um, I really like Cult of the Lamb a lot. I might want it to stop here.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I'm not.
I think if anything, the thing that takes um Cult of the Lamb higher is the charm. That game is
Yeah.
so charming on so many different levels.
Hmm. And I think one of the reasons why we kind of judged Last Stand Aftermath incorrectly early was um, I feel like, especially the Xbox Live Arcade era, we saw a lot of like isometric twin stick shooting games, and you see one of
Uh-huh.
those with zombies and kind of like a real world aesthetic on it, and you're like, okay, sure. But you look at Cult of the Lamb, and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, we got something a little bit that kind of like ugly cute, evil cute sort of thing. That I think
Yeah,
goes a long way to making Cult of the Lamb really really charming.
yeah,
Yeah, I think we're okay here, just under Cult of the Lamb, which means it's at number 25. It looks like some of our spreadsheet here got a little bit discombobulated over the last couple of months, so looks like it's number
yes.
25, which means you're at the very least you're in the top half here, which is really great. We've got a lot of really fantastic roguelikes here on the list. Don't forget to go check out the big master list, weroguelikeit.com. It takes you right here to the
Uh-huh.
list with links to the games, links to the episodes, the ranking episodes, all of that. It's got all the great games in there and the unfortunately not so great games too. So something's got to be at the top of the
We
list.
don't
Something's got to
we
be at the
don't
bottom of
talk
the
about
list.
the bottom.
No,
We
we've
don't
got
talk
some.
about those things.
There are both games that we didn't enjoy and were disappointed by at the bottom of the list, and I'm not sure which one is worse. Um, so congratulations to Last Stand Aftermath. Go check that out, and hopefully you enjoy it as well. Don't forget that our next game is Halls of Torment. We're gonna play that here for the next month. Hopefully you will join us, and hopefully you'll join us for next run. Bye.
Boy.